Hello everyone, today's talk is Murderfart and today's video isn't going to be about Kirby. It's going to be about Ace Attorney, specifically another game ranking. Remember, this is spoilers for every game that is included in the rankings. I'll try not to include that many spoilers, but there's going to be spoilers for sure. With that said, the games that I'm going to be ranking today are going to be the mainline games, and I'm going to be talking about the spin-offs in a later video. So with that said, let's begin with the ratings. So let's start from the earlier games to the later games, starting with the very first Ace Attorney game, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. I see many place this game high, yet I still need to disagree. Yes, it's a great game, but it's really not comparable to many higher. There's much less interesting mechanics here, so the game can get boring and repetitive fast. To top this off, the game pacing is really bad, with a free escapism in most cases. I feel like most of the characters aren't developed enough in the first and second cases, which make themselves worse, while overall I'd say all cases were at least C tier. I think the other games just have improved in everything that Phoenix Wright has ever did. Next up we have Justice Round. This is my least favorite game. Still not bad, but I'll say it gets overrated sometimes. I think it's obvious that the first and third cases are really below average, but I think the fourth case gets really overrated. Again, this case is great, don't get me wrong, but the case has so many flaws that I don't see others bringing up. Let's look at the main starting point, where Maya gets kidnapped. Yes, this part is quite intense, but I've always felt as if this was the only thing separating the case from being a filler. The final cases of many other games including much more to their plots, which makes them feel better. Let's look at the culprit now. The culprit is the defendant, and while that's a decent plot twist, this is done much better afterwards. On top of this, the plot never gets addressed. With this I mean, there's nothing in the previous cases indicating what happens in the final case. This might be hard because there's literally one thing happening in the plot which is supposed to be a surprise, but in my opinion, it's always better when it at least gets mentioned beforehand. When it never did. We pass into Trials and Tribulations. This game is likely the most overrated game in this whole series. I see it being placed in the S tier on a daily basis, and I really can't understand why. Again, it's a great game, but I really can't place it higher than bottom of A tier personally. I have absolutely nothing wrong with the final case, that was top 5 deserving, and the second case was also pretty good. But this is pretty much where my compliments for the game end. The third case is a disappointment and a half. I thought the idea of discovering the clone was fantastic, but then they made it so blatantly obvious who it was that it's not even funny. The fourth case was boring because we all knew who the culprit was, and the final part wasn't satisfying at all. I understand it was meant to feel a bit off, but in practice of the case, really couldn't have gotten worse. As for the first case, it's by far my least favorite in the series. Like the third and fourth cases, I hated the character interactions. Literally, there is not a character here that I wouldn't say was badly implemented other than Mia. It gets that bad. The case was far too hard for a supposed tutorial case and spoiled 3/4 culprit. I could keep going with the weaknesses, but what I mean is the game only has 2 cases, and those cases hard carrying it to the A tier, and nothing really much more. I'm sure we all know why this game is high tier though, so I'll pass to the next game. We're finished with the original Ace Attorney trilogy, so it's time I pass into Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. I think the case 1 and the case 2 were really good, especially the case 2. I felt like the investigations felt interesting with the characters and organized with different mysteries. I felt like they all led into the murder really decently, and I just really liked the main characters overall. However, yeah, again, that's where my compliments end. Case 3 had really no logic and felt dull as a result. Really, I don't think anybody disagrees with that. Case 4 wasn't a satisfying end at all, however, and I don't think many will agree with this, but it's pretty easy to just say why I don't like it. The logic behind Phoenix's disbarment made absolutely no sense, and simulation was good in theory but flawed on practice. Basically, they just fumbled the order of the lore of the case, you know? Like, the order of each selectable option was just not in order to the lore. Like, that was completely stupid. It just made the case incredibly confusing for anybody that just wasn't with a guide, you know? And I just felt like the case itself just wasn't really satisfying compared to any other final case, in my opinion. But yeah, that's basically it for Apollo Justice, so we should be needing to pass into another game. So next up we'll be getting Dual Destinies. I found the game extremely underrated. I really liked it. It was a top 3 game for me. The Case 1 and Case 2 had really epic moments that I've enjoyed quite a ton. Case 3 was really good. I loved seeing a case with Athena. Case 4 was a bit forgettable, not in your average way, just a 5-5 took most of the spotlight, naturally because it was a top 5 case for me. The moments between Athena, Blackwell and the Phantom were simply crazy, and I absolutely adored the mystery and the epic moments again. 5-6 is just 5-6, like everybody liked that case, and I just didn't mind it being handholdy at all, since I obviously lack skill and everybody knows that. So I felt like it was definitely a great game. And our final game for today is Spirit of Justice. Unlike Dual Destinies, this is my second least favorite Ace Attorney game in the series. I felt like this game is really overrated. Case 1 and Case 3 just get incredibly repetitive insanely quickly, also doesn't let Apollo develop his character at all, and Case 3 also doesn't let Nayuta develop at all, either. Case 2 gets too many hate on Trucis' back, and I don't really understand why they did that, like why so many hate. Case 4 made Athena's character development go backwards and nobody can convince me otherwise. Case 5 made most of the character development seem too forced and was way too long for my liking, and Case 6 sidelined characters in need of development for absolutely no reason. This game just has way too many weaknesses, especially in its repetitiveness and character development, make it get boring and frustrating really fast, which makes me prefer other games over this one. And that's about it for today's video. Let me know if you want to see more Ace Attorney content like this, consider liking if you've enjoyed and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and with that said, bye!